Okay, so here we go. We're going to do some division of fractions, and I'm going to go through this with three different examples. The first one we're going to go through is just going to be straightforward two fractions. Because when I have two fractions, this gets real easy. Because when it comes to dividing fractions, all we have to do is we have to tell ourselves we have to keep this first fraction. We're going to change this second one, and we're going to flip this one, okay? KCF, okay? We're going to do keep, change, flip. So what does that mean? All right, so I'm going to keep my first fraction just as it is, 2/5. I'm going to change this division sign, and I'm going to change it into multiplication. That's what we do. We change it into multiplication, and then I'm going to flip this, and technically the math term for this is reciprocal, okay? But for this case, we're just going to do keep, change, flip. Okay, so keep, change, flip, and then now I just have a multiplication problem. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 1 is 5. And I have 4/5 as my answer. Okay, there's nothing we have to do after that. We keep, change, flip, multiply across, and there's our answer. Obviously, if you have to simplify or change into a mixed number or things like that, you'll have to go ahead and do that. But for the most part, dividing fractions, all we're doing is we're doing our keep, change, flip. Okay. Okay, so now for this one, what we have is we have a whole number. Okay. Now the keep, change, flip will only work when we have two actual fractions with a numerator and denominator. Right now we don't have that. Okay, so first we need to go ahead and make a division problem here where we can get two fractions with numerator and denominator. Whenever we have a whole number, okay, we can rewrite that as a fraction just by taking that number, in this case 7, and putting it over 1. Okay? And I know you guys are like, okay, now I can keep, change, flip. Don't do that. We want to do we want to make sure that we're doing one step at a time here. Okay? So now I have my two fractions with numerator and denominator. Now I'm going to go ahead and do my keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep this first one as 7 over 1. Change that division to multiplication. And then I'm going to flip here, and I have 8 over 6. Okay? All right? So now I multiply straight across. 7 times 8 is 56. 6 times 1 is 6. Okay? So now technically I have my answer and I'm done dividing. But this is an improper fraction. I don't want improper fractions. Okay? So how do we go ahead and do this? All right? Now I would go ahead and say you got to do the long division way. Okay? And that's really what you have to do. But I'm going to show you how to take a basic calculator and show you how you can actually do the long division in your basic calculator. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to switch to red. So to turn this into a mixed number, now I need to go ahead and do 56 divided by 6. So I'm going to go and get my 56 here, and I'm going to divide by 6, okay? Well, I'm going to go to my calculator up here, and I'm going to do 56 divided by 6. And I get this number, okay? In the case of long division, I really only want this number here, which is 9. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use that. That was 9. I don't care about any of the other numbers that were behind it. Okay, now 6 times 9, maybe you need a calculator for that, maybe you don't. Okay, but 6 times 9 is 54. So now I just multiply 9 times 6, and I get 54. And I'm going to subtract that. 56 minus 54 gives me 2. So 2 is my new numerator, and my denominator of 6 will just stay the same. Okay, so now I have 9 and 2 6. And for people who have a real stickler for a teacher, okay, you would turn that into 9 and 1/3 once you simplify the 2 6 as your answer. So 9 and 1/3 ends up being my real full answer. Okay. All right, so now here I don't have a whole number, but I still don't quite have a fraction with a numerator and denominator. I have a mixed number here. Okay. How we turn those mixed numbers into improper fractions? Take the numerator, multiply by the whole number. 2 times 2 is 4. And then we go ahead and we're just going to add that numerator of 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. So now I have a fraction with a numerator of 5. And as always, our denominator is just going to stay the same. And I'm dividing by 3/4. Okay, sorry, that one was a little bit messy there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my keep, change, flip. Okay, keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep 5/2. Change my denominator, my division to multiplication. And then I'm flipping 3/4, so I'm going to get 4/3. Multiply that straight across, and I get 20. 5 times 4 is 20. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, again, I see that I have this improper fraction here, so I want to go ahead and I want to turn that into a mixed number. Okay, so I'm going to take my 20 here. I'm going to divide it by 6. Okay, again, I know some students have a hard time knowing how many times 6 goes into 20. If that's the case, I don't mind you using a calculator. 6 divided by 20 equals, I'm sorry, I meant to do 20 divided by 6. That's what we really wanted to do. 20 divided by 6 gives me 3.333. Okay, that's a big long piece of nonsense. But all I'm worried about is my 3. So 6 goes into 20 3 times. 6 times 3, I'm just knowing is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. So I got 3 and 2/6. And again, if you have a teacher who wants to make sure everything is nice and perfect and everything's simplified, you would know that that turns into 3 and 1/3. Okay, so there's dividing fractions with fractions, whole numbers, mixed numbers.